Here's a truth that will shake you to your core. What if I told you that 95% of people will die without ever experiencing the life they truly desired? Not because they weren't smart enough, not because they didn't work hard enough, but because they were following a formula that actually guaranteed their failure. What if everything you've been programmed to believe about achievement, about success, about getting what you want is not just wrong, but the exact opposite of how reality actually works? What if the very act of chasing your dreams is the precise reason they keep running away from you? You've been conditioned to believe that success requires relentless pursuit, that you must push harder, grind longer, want it more desperately than anyone else. Society has programmed you to think that desire plus effort equals results. But here's the brutal reality. The harder you chase, the faster success sprints in the opposite direction. This isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is a fundamental law of existence that governs everything from relationships to wealth to personal fulfillment. And the moment you understand this principle, your entire reality will shift, because you'll discover that the very thing you've been desperately seeking has been waiting for you to stop chasing it. Over 95% of people live their entire lives trapped in this cycle of want and disappointment. They chase money and stay broke. They chase love and remain lonely. They chase success and achieve mediocrity. Not because they're incapable, but because they're operating from a fundamentally flawed understanding of how reality responds to human desire. What if I told you that billionaires, enlightened masters, and everyone who seems to effortlessly attract what they want, all understand something that you don't? They've discovered the reverse law, the cosmic principle that states, when you stop chasing, everything starts chasing you. In this revelation, I'm going to show you why desperation repels abundance, why need creates scarcity, and why the moment you learn to embody what you desire instead of chasing it, the universe has no choice but to deliver it to you. Get ready to discover the most powerful force in existence, because once you understand this, you'll never see success the same way again. The desperation trap that keeps you stuck. Desperation is the invisible force that destroys dreams before they can manifest. It's the energy that transforms potential into disappointment and hope into frustration. Yet most people have no idea they're radiating this destructive frequency every single day. Think about the last time you desperately wanted something. Maybe it was a job that seemed perfect for you. You crafted the ideal resume, researched everything about the company, and spent sleepless nights imagining how your life would change once you got the position. You followed up relentlessly, checked your email obsessively, and convinced yourself that wanting it more would somehow make it happen. But what actually happened? The more you needed that job, the more elusive it became. The more you demonstrated your desperation, the less attractive you appeared to the employer. Your need created a repulsive energy that pushed the opportunity away from you. Or perhaps it was a relationship. You met someone who seemed like your perfect match, and immediately began planning your future together. You analyzed every text message, overanalyzed every interaction, and tried to prove your worth through constant attention and validation. You believed that showing how much you cared would make them care more about you. Instead, your desperation created pressure. Your need for their approval made you less appealing. The more you chased their affection, the more they pulled away. Your desperation transformed you from someone desirable into someone needy. And need is the opposite of attraction. This is the desperation trap. And it operates according to a fundamental principle of energy. Desperation broadcasts lack. It sends out a signal that says, I don't have enough, I am incomplete, I need this external thing to feel whole, and the universe, responding to the energy you emit, gives you more of exactly what you're broadcasting. More lack, more incompleteness, more need. The reverse law reveals why this happens. When you chase something desperately, you're operating from a state of scarcity. You're affirming that you don't currently have what you want. And that affirmation becomes your reality. The more intensely you feel the lack, the more intensely you experience the lack. Consider the people you know who seem to effortlessly attract success. They're not the ones posting desperate motivational quotes on social media. They're not the ones constantly talking about their goals and dreams. They're not the ones working themselves into burnout, trying to force outcomes. Instead, they carry themselves with a quiet confidence, an inner knowing that what they desire is already theirs. This isn't about positive thinking or visualization. This is about understanding the fundamental difference between wanting and being. When you want something, you're acknowledging its absence. When you embody something, you're claiming its presence. The universe responds to what you are, not what you want. Billionaires like Warren Buffett don't desperately chase money. They embody wealth. They make decisions from a place of abundance, not scarcity. They don't need to get rich because they already are rich in their identity. Scientists like Einstein didn't desperately chase discoveries. They embodied curiosity and understanding. They became the very thing they sought to understand. The desperation trap keeps you focused on the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It makes that gap feel enormous and insurmountable. But the reverse law shows you that the gap is an illusion. What you seek is not separate from you. It's not something you need to acquire, it's something you need to become. When you stop chasing and start embodying, when you stop needing and start being, when you stop desperately wanting and start naturally attracting, everything changes. The universe stops responding to your lack and starts responding to your fullness. Instead of pushing your desires away, you begin to magnetize them toward you. Why you haven't achieved your goals yet? The reason you haven't achieved your goals isn't what you think. It's not because you haven't worked hard enough. It's not because you lack talent or intelligence. It's not because you haven't found the right strategy or method. The reason you haven't achieved your goals is because you've been chasing them instead of embodying them. Most people approach their goals from a position of lack. They see their dreams as something external, something they need to acquire, something they need to work toward. This fundamental misunderstanding creates the very resistance that prevents achievement. When you chase your goals, you're actually pushing them away. Think about your current approach to success. You probably have a list of things you want to achieve, money you want to make, relationships you want to experience, recognition you want to receive, and you probably spend your days working toward these things, planning for them, strategizing about them, worrying about them. But here's what's really happening. Every time you focus on what you don't have, you're reinforcing the reality of not having it. Every time you long for something, you're creating more longing. Every time you need something to feel complete, you're generating more incompleteness. You're stuck in a cycle of creating the very thing you're trying to escape. The universe doesn't respond to your goals. It responds to your identity. It doesn't care what you want. It cares who you are. And if you're someone who wants success, you'll always be someone who wants success, never someone who has success. The wanting becomes your permanent state. This is why people can work incredibly hard and still fail to achieve their dreams. They're working from the wrong foundation. They're trying to get something instead of becoming someone. They're focused on the external result instead of the internal transformation. They're chasing the effect instead of embodying the cause. Consider how successful people actually operate. They don't spend their time wanting success. They spend their time being successful. They don't chase wealth. They embody abundance. They don't pursue recognition. They become worthy of recognition. They don't work toward their goals, they work from their goals. Steve Jobs didn't chase innovation. He became innovation. He embodied the cutting edge of technology and design. He didn't need to pursue revolutionary products because he was revolution. Warren Buffett didn't chase wealth. He became wealth. He embodied the principles of value and abundance. He didn't need to pursue money because he was the source of money. The difference is fundamental. When you chase your goals, you're operating from separation. You're here, and your goals are there. And you need to bridge the gap. But when you embody your goals, you're operating from unity. You and your goals are one. There's no gap to bridge because there's no separation. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of asking, how can I get what I want? You start asking, how can I become who I need to be? Instead of focusing on the external outcome, you focus on the internal transformation. Instead of chasing the result, you embody the cause. When you make this shift, your entire relationship with success transforms. You stop being someone who wants success and start being someone who is successful. You stop generating lack and start generating abundance. You stop pushing your goals away and start attracting them toward you. The universe responds to this shift immediately because you're no longer sending out signals of need and desperation. You're sending out signals of fulfillment and abundance. And the universe, always seeking to match your inner state with your outer reality, begins to manifest experiences that reflect your new identity. This is why the reverse law is so powerful. It reveals that success isn't something you achieve. It's something you become. It's not something you get, it's something you are. And the moment you understand this truth, your entire life begins to align with your deepest desires. The practical application of the reverse law. Understanding the reverse law intellectually is one thing, applying it practically is another. The transformation from chasing to embodying requires a complete shift in how you approach your desires, your goals, and your daily actions. This isn't about changing what you do, it's about changing who you are while you do it. The first step is identifying what you've been desperately chasing. Take a moment to examine your life honestly. What do you find yourself constantly thinking about, worrying about, working toward? What keeps you up at night? What makes you feel anxious or frustrated when you don't see progress? These are the areas where you're operating from desperation rather than embodiment. Maybe you're chasing financial freedom. You constantly worry about money, check your bank account obsessively, and feel stressed about your financial situation. Every decision you make is filtered through the lens of scarcity. You're so focused on not having enough that you're creating more, not having enough. Or perhaps you're chasing love and connection. You analyze every interaction, worry about being alone, and feel incomplete without a romantic partner. You're so focused on finding someone that you're actually repelling the very people who might be attracted to you. Your need for love is preventing love from flowing to you. The key insight is this: whatever you're chasing is actually chasing you. But your desperation is creating a barrier that prevents the natural flow of what you desire. When you stop chasing and start embodying, you remove that barrier and allow the natural attraction to occur. Detachment is the foundation of the reverse law. But detachment doesn't mean not caring. It means caring without needing. It means wanting without depending. It means having preferences without having requirements. You can desire something while simultaneously being complete without it. This is a subtle but crucial distinction. When you need something, you're incomplete without it. When you want something, you're complete with or without it. The universe responds to your state of completion, not your state of need. Complete people attract, incomplete people repel. To practice detachment, start by releasing your grip on specific outcomes. Instead of insisting that your desires manifest in a particular way or time frame, become open to how they might appear. Trust that the universe has an intelligence far greater than your limited perspective. Allow your desires to unfold in ways that might surprise you. Consider the story of Maria, a talented artist who spent years desperately trying to get her work into galleries. She constantly worried about rejection, compared herself to other artists, and felt like a failure every time she received a no. Her desperation was palpable in every interaction, and gallery owners could sense her neediness. Everything changed when Maria decided to stop chasing gallery representation and start embodying artistic success. She began creating art purely for the joy of creation. She stopped worrying about external validation and started trusting her own vision. She embodied confidence and artistic integrity. Within 6 months, 3 galleries approached her. Her work hadn't changed, but her energy had transformed completely. She went from someone who needed gallery representation to someone who naturally attracted it. The reverse law had worked perfectly. The next step is embodying certainty. Certain people don't chase because they know what they want is already theirs. They operate from a place of knowing rather than hoping. They make decisions from their desired identity rather than their current circumstances. If you want to attract wealth, start embodying the certainty of someone who is already wealthy. Make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. Spend money confidently rather than fearfully. Think about investments rather than expenses. Carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows money flows to them naturally if you want to attract love. Start embodying the certainty of someone who is already loved. Treat yourself with the care and respect you desire from others. Make decisions from self-worth rather than self-doubt. Carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are worthy of deep connection. This isn't about pretending or faking, it's about recognizing the truth of who you already are. You already have everything you need to be successful. You already have everything you need to be loved. You already have everything you need to be fulfilled. The reverse law simply reveals this truth and allows it to manifest in your external reality. The final step is trusting the process. The reverse law operates on divine timing, not human timing. Your desires will manifest when you're truly ready to receive them, not when you think you're ready. Trust that the universe is orchestrating everything perfectly, even when you can't see the bigger picture. This trust is what allows you to stop chasing and start attracting. When you trust that what you desire is already yours, you can relax into the natural flow of life. You can take inspired action rather than desperate action. You can be guided by intuition rather than driven by fear. The subconscious mind and self-sabotage. Your subconscious mind is the hidden force that controls 95% of your reality. It's the invisible puppeteer pulling the strings of your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. And here's the shocking truth. Your subconscious mind is probably sabotaging your success without you even realizing it. Every belief you hold about yourself, every pattern you follow, every automatic response you have, was programmed into your subconscious mind during your formative years. These programs are still running in the background of your consciousness, determining what you think is possible for you and what you think you deserve. Think about your relationship with money. If you grew up hearing that money is the root of all evil, or that rich people are greedy, or that there's never enough to go around, these beliefs became part of your subconscious programming, even if you consciously want to be wealthy. Your subconscious mind will find ways to keep you poor because that's what it believes is right for you. Or consider your relationship with success if you grew up believing that you have to work extremely hard for everything, or that success requires sacrifice and struggle, or that you don't deserve good things. These beliefs will create patterns of self-sabotage whenever you get close to achieving your goals. This is why so many people seem to have a success thermostat. They can achieve a certain level of success, but then they unconsciously sabotage themselves back to their comfort zone. They make more money than ever before, but then they find ways to spend it or lose it. They find love, but then they push it away. They achieve recognition, but then they do something to damage their reputation. Your subconscious mind is like a thermostat set to a certain temperature. If the room gets too hot, it turns on the air conditioning. If the room gets too cold, it turns on the heat. Your subconscious mind works the same way with success, wealth, love, and happiness. It will sabotage you back to your set point whenever you exceed it. The reverse law reveals that you must reprogram your subconscious mind to align with your conscious desires. You must identify and release the limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. You must install new programming that supports your goals rather than sabotages them. This process begins with awareness. You must become conscious of the unconscious patterns that are running your life. Pay attention to your automatic thoughts, your emotional reactions, your habitual behaviors. Notice when you feel resistance to success, when you feel unworthy of good things, when you feel like you don't deserve what you want. These feelings are clues to your subconscious programming. They reveal the beliefs that are limiting your potential. Once you identify these beliefs, you can begin to question them. Where did they come from? Are they actually true? Do they serve you? Are you willing to release them? Consider the story of David, a brilliant entrepreneur who couldn't seem to break through to the next level of success. Every time his business started to grow significantly, something would go wrong. He would make a bad decision, hire the wrong person, or somehow sabotage his own progress. Through deep self-examination, David discovered that he had a subconscious belief that he didn't deserve to be more successful than his father. His father had worked hard his entire life, but never achieved significant financial success. David's subconscious mind was protecting him from surpassing his father because it believed that would be disrespectful or disloyal. Once David identified this limiting belief, he was able to release it and install a new belief that he could be successful while honoring his father's legacy. His business immediately began to grow exponentially because his subconscious mind was finally aligned with his conscious goals. The key to reprogramming your subconscious mind is repetition and emotion. Your subconscious mind learns through repetition, so you must consistently reinforce your new beliefs through affirmations, visualization, and embodied practice. But repetition alone isn't enough. You must also engage your emotions, because your subconscious mind responds more strongly to emotional experiences than to logical arguments. When you affirm your new beliefs, don't just recite them mechanically. Feel them, embody them, experience them as if they were already true. When you visualize your success, don't just see it. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were already your reality. Make the experience as vivid and real as possible. This is why the reverse law is so effective. When you stop chasing and start embodying, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing your identity. You're reprogramming your subconscious mind to align with your desires. You're becoming the person who naturally attracts what you want. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you imagine and what you experience. If you consistently imagine yourself as successful, wealthy, loved, and fulfilled, your subconscious mind will begin to accept this as reality. And once your subconscious mind accepts a new reality, it will work tirelessly to make it manifest in your external world. The law of assumption and identity transformation. The law of assumption is one of the most powerful principles in the universe. It states that you attract what you assume to be true about yourself, not what you want or hope for. Your assumptions become your reality because they determine your identity, and your identity determines your experience. Most people approach their goals from a position of wanting. They want to be wealthy, they want to be loved, they want to be successful. But wanting implies not having. When you want something, you're assuming that you don't currently have it, and that assumption becomes your reality. The law of assumption reveals that you must shift from wanting to being. Instead of wanting to be wealthy, you must assume you are wealthy. Instead of wanting to be loved, you must assume you are loved. Instead of wanting to be successful, you must assume you are successful. Your assumptions about yourself determine what you experience. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is about recognizing the fundamental truth of who you are. You are not separate from your desires. You are not lacking anything. You are not incomplete. You are already everything you seek to become. The law of assumption simply reveals this truth and allows it to manifest. Consider the story of Sarah, a talented writer who spent years trying to get published. She submitted manuscripts to dozens of agents and publishers, collected rejection letters, and felt like a failure every time she received a no. She assumed she was an unpublished writer trying to become published, and that assumption created her reality. Everything changed when Sarah decided to assume she was already a successful author. She stopped identifying as someone trying to get published and started identifying as someone who was already published. She changed her assumptions about herself, and her reality began to shift. Sarah started writing from the identity of a successful author. She made decisions from this identity. She carried herself with the confidence of someone whose work was valued. She assumed her success was inevitable rather than possible. Within 6 months, she received 3 offers from publishers. The external circumstances hadn't changed, but Sarah's assumptions about herself had transformed completely. She went from someone who assumed she was trying to be successful to someone who assumed she was already successful. The law of assumption had worked perfectly. To apply the law of assumption, you must first identify your current assumptions about yourself. What do you assume to be true about your capabilities, your worthiness, your potential, your future? These assumptions are creating your current reality. If you want to change your reality, you must change your assumptions. If you assume you're someone who struggles with money, you'll continue to struggle with money. If you assume you're someone who has bad luck with relationships, you'll continue to have bad luck with relationships. If you assume you're someone who can't catch a break, you'll continue to not catch breaks. Your assumptions are self-fulfilling prophecies. But if you assume you're someone who naturally attracts wealth, you'll begin to attract wealth. If you assume you're someone who is worthy of love, you'll begin to attract love. If you assume you're someone who is successful, you'll begin to manifest success. Your new assumptions will create your new reality. The key is to assume your desires are already fulfilled. Not that they will be fulfilled in the future. The universe operates in the present moment. If you assume your success is in the future, it will always be in the future. But if you assume your success is now, it will manifest now. This requires a fundamental shift in how you think about yourself and your life. Instead of thinking, I will be successful, think, I am successful. Instead of thinking, I will be wealthy, think, I am wealthy. Instead of thinking, I will be loved, think, I am loved. Live from the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled. This isn't about pretending or denying your current circumstances. It's about recognizing the truth of who you are beyond your current circumstances. Your circumstances are temporary. Your identity is eternal. When you align your identity with your desires, your circumstances will naturally shift to match your identity. The reverse law works through the law of assumption. When you stop chasing your desires and start assuming they're already yours, you embody the energy of having rather than wanting. You radiate fulfillment rather than lack. You attract from abundance rather than scarcity, and the universe responds by giving you more of what you're already assuming to be true. This is why successful people seem to effortlessly attract more success. They assume success is natural for them. They assume wealth flows to them easily. They assume opportunities are always available. Their assumptions create their reality, and their reality reinforces their assumptions. You can create the same upward spiral in your own life. Start assuming that your desires are already fulfilled. Start identifying as the person who has what you want. Start living from the assumption that your success is inevitable, and watch as your external reality begins to align with your internal assumptions. The 7-day transformation protocol. Understanding the reverse law is one thing, embodying it is another. The following 7-day protocol will help you shift from chasing to attracting, from wanting to being, from scarcity to abundance. Each day focuses on a specific aspect of the transformation, building upon the previous day's work. This isn't a passive exercise. It requires active participation, conscious choice, and consistent practice. The more fully you engage with each day's practice, the more profound your transformation will be. Remember, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing your identity. You're becoming the person who naturally attracts what you desire. Day 1. Identify and release. Limiting beliefs. The first day is about bringing awareness to the unconscious beliefs that are limiting your potential. These beliefs are like invisible chains that keep you trapped in patterns of lack and limitation. You can't change what you're not aware of. So awareness is the first step toward freedom. Spend time in quiet reflection, examining your beliefs about success, money, love, and yourself. Write down every limiting belief you can identify. Where did this belief come from? Who taught it to you? When did you first accept it as true? Is it actually true, or is it just a story you've been telling yourself? Common limiting beliefs include: I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve success. Money is hard to come by. I'm not attractive enough. I always fail. Success requires sacrifice. I'm not lucky. Good things don't happen to me. People like me don't succeed. I have to work harder than everyone else. For each limiting belief, write down a new empowering belief to replace it. Instead of, I'm not smart enough, write, I have all the intelligence I need to succeed. Instead of, money is hard to come by, write, money flows to me easily and naturally. Instead of, I don't deserve success, write, I am worthy of all the success I desire. Spend the day consciously replacing your limiting beliefs with your empowering beliefs every time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought. Immediately replace it with its empowering counterpart. This is the beginning of reprogramming your subconscious mind. Day 2. Embody your desired identity. The second day is about stepping into the identity of the person who already has what you desire. This is the most powerful aspect of the reverse law. When you embody your desired identity, you naturally attract experiences that match that identity. Define exactly who you need to become to naturally attract what you want. If you want to attract wealth, who is the person who naturally attracts wealth? What do they think? How do they feel? How do they act? What decisions do they make? How do they carry themselves? What is their relationship with money? If you want to attract love, who is the person who naturally attracts love? What do they believe about themselves? How do they treat themselves? What is their relationship with their own worth? How do they show up in relationships? What energy do they radiate? Today, embody this identity completely. Make decisions from this identity. Think from this identity. Act from this identity. Carry yourself from this identity. Don't wait for your circumstances to change. Change your identity now, and watch as your circumstances begin to shift. If you're embodying wealth, make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. If you're embodying love, treat yourself with the care and respect you desire from others. If you're embodying success, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are successful. Day 3. Practice detachment. The third day is about releasing your grip on outcomes and trusting the process. Detachment is the foundation of the reverse law. When you're attached to specific outcomes, you create resistance. When you're detached, you allow the natural flow of your desires. Detachment doesn't mean not caring. It means caring without needing. It means having preferences without having requirements. It means being open to how your desires might manifest, even if it's different from what you expected. Practice letting go of control instead of trying to force outcomes. Trust that the universe is orchestrating everything perfectly instead of insisting on specific timelines. Be open to divine timing instead of demanding that things happen in a particular way. Be curious about how they might unfold. When you feel yourself getting attached to a specific outcome, remind yourself that something even better might be available. Trust that the universe has an intelligence far greater than your limited perspective. Allow your desires to manifest in ways that might surprise and delight you. Day 4. Cultivate certainty. The fourth day is about developing unshakable certainty that your desires are already yours. Certainty is the energy that attracts. Doubt is the energy that repels. Certain people don't chase because they know what they want is already theirs. Certainty isn't about being arrogant or entitled. It's about recognizing the truth of who you are and what you're capable of. It's about knowing that you are worthy of your desires, that you have everything you need to succeed, that your success is inevitable. Cultivate certainty through affirmation, visualization, and embodied practice. Affirm your success as if it's already happened. Visualize your desires as if they're already manifested. Act as if you're already the person who has what you want. When doubt arises, don't fight it, acknowledge it, and then choose certainty. Doubt is just old programming trying to keep you safe. Thank it for its concern, and then choose to trust in your inevitable success. Day 5. Reprogram your inner dialogue. The fifth day is about changing the conversation you have with yourself. Your inner dialogue is constantly creating your reality. If you're constantly telling yourself that you can't succeed, that you're not good enough, that things are hard, that's exactly what you'll experience. Pay attention to your inner dialogue throughout the day. Notice when you're speaking to yourself from lack, limitation, or fear. Immediately replace these thoughts with thoughts of abundance, possibility, and love. Instead of, I can't afford this, think, money flows to me easily. Instead of, I'm not good enough, think, I am worthy of all good things. Instead of, this is too hard, think, I am capable of anything. Instead of, I never get what I want, think, everything I desire is already mine. Make this a constant practice. Your inner dialogue is like a radio station that's always playing in the background. Make sure it's playing the songs of success, abundance, and love, not the songs of lack, limitation, and fear. Day 6. Visualize and feel your success. The 6th day is about using the power of visualization to embody your desires. Visualization isn't just about seeing your success, it's about feeling it, experiencing it, making it real in your nervous system. Create a detailed visualization of your desires already manifested. See yourself living your ideal life. Feel the emotions you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. Make the experience as vivid and real as possible. Don't just visualize the end result. Visualize yourself naturally attracting what you want. See opportunities flowing to you. See people being drawn to your energy. See success seeking you out. Feel the ease and naturalness of this process. The key is to make the visualization feel real. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you imagine and what you experience. The more real you make your visualization, the more your subconscious mind will work to make it manifest in your external reality. Day 7. Integrate and commit. The 7th day is about integrating everything you've learned and committing to living from the reverse law. This isn't a one-time exercise. It's a new way of being, a new approach to life, a new relationship with your desires. Reflect on your experience over the past 6 days. What shifts have you noticed? What insights have you gained? What resistance have you encountered? What breakthroughs have you experienced? How has your relationship with your desires changed? Make a commitment to continue embodying the reverse law. Commit to identifying as the person who already has what you want. Commit to operating from abundance rather than scarcity. Commit to trusting the process rather than forcing outcomes. Remember, this is a practice, not a perfection. You'll have moments when you slip back into old patterns of chasing and wanting. That's normal. The key is to notice when it happens and gently return to embodying and being. The reverse law isn't just a technique, it's a way of life. It's a recognition that you already are everything you seek to become. It's a remembrance of your true nature. It's a return to your natural state of abundance and fulfillment. Living the reverse law. The reverse law isn't just a concept to understand. It's a principle to live by. It's a fundamental shift in how you approach life, relationships, success, and fulfillment. When you truly embody the reverse law, you stop being someone who chases and start being someone who attracts. This transformation affects every area of your life. Your relationships become more authentic because you're not trying to get love, you're giving love. Your career becomes more fulfilling because you're not trying to get success, you're being successful. Your finances become more abundant because you're not trying to get money, you're being wealthy. The reverse law reveals that everything you've ever wanted is already within you. You don't need to acquire it. You need to embody it. You don't need to chase it. You need to become it. You don't need to force it. You need to allow it. This isn't about becoming passive or inactive. It's about becoming aligned. It's about taking inspired action rather than desperate action. It's about following your intuition rather than forcing outcomes. It's about trusting the process rather than trying to control it. When you live from the reverse law, you discover that the universe is constantly conspiring to give you what you desire. Opportunities appear at the perfect moment. People show up to help you. Resources become available exactly when you need them. Synchronicities become commonplace. This isn't magic. It's the natural result of aligning your inner state with your outer desires. When you embody what you want, you become a magnet for it. When you radiate abundance, you attract abundance. When you emanate love, you magnetize love. When you embody success, you draw success to you. The reverse law also reveals that your desires are not arbitrary. They're not random wants that you've picked up along the way. They're expressions of your deepest nature. They're glimpses of who you truly are. They're invitations to become your highest self. When you desire wealth, you're being called to embody abundance. When you desire love, you're being called to embody love. When you desire success, you're being called to embody your highest potential. Your desires are not obstacles to overcome. They're opportunities to evolve. This perspective transforms your entire relationship with wanting. Instead of seeing your desires as evidence of what you lack, you see them as evidence of what you're becoming. Instead of feeling frustrated by unfulfilled wants, you feel excited about the growth they represent instead of chasing external outcomes. You pursue internal transformation. The reverse law ultimately reveals that you are not separate from what you desire. You are not lacking anything. You are not incomplete. You are already whole, perfect and complete. Your desires are simply reminders of who you truly are. Invitations to remember your true nature. When you stop chasing and start being. When you stop wanting and start embodying. When you stop forcing and start allowing, you discover that everything you've ever wanted has been waiting for you to recognize it within yourself. The external world is simply a reflection of your internal state. Change your inner world, and your outer world will follow. This is the ultimate truth of the reverse law. Success doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. Love doesn't come to you. It flows from you. Abundance doesn't arrive for you. It expresses as you. You are not the recipient of your desires. You are the source of your desires. The moment you truly understand this, your entire life transforms. You stop being someone who needs and start being someone who provides. You stop being someone who lacks and start being someone who overflows. You stop being someone who chases and start being someone who attracts. This is the power of the reverse law. It doesn't just change what you have, it changes who you are. It doesn't just improve your circumstances, it transforms your identity. It doesn't just give you what you want, it reveals that you already are what you want. The reverse law is not just a technique for getting what you want, it's a revelation of who you truly are. It's a remembrance of your natural state of abundance. It's a return to your original wholeness. It's a recognition that you are already everything you seek to become. When you embody this truth, when you live from this understanding, when you operate from this awareness, you discover that the universe is not withholding anything from you. You are not lacking anything. You are not incomplete. You are already everything you need to be. Everything you desire is already yours. The only thing that was ever missing was your recognition of this truth. The reverse law is the key to unlocking this recognition. It's the path to remembering who you truly are. It's the way to return to your natural state of abundance, fulfillment, and joy. Stop chasing. Start being. Stop wanting. Start embodying. Stop forcing. Start allowing. And watch as everything you've ever desired begins to chase you. This is not just a possibility. It's your birthright. This is not just a dream. It's your destiny. This is not just a hope. It's your truth. You are already everything you seek to become. The reverse law simply reveals this truth and allows it to manifest in your life. The choice is yours. You can continue chasing, wanting, and forcing, or you can start being, embodying, and allowing. You can continue operating from lack, limitation, and fear, or you can start operating from abundance, possibility, and love. You can continue being someone who needs, or you can start being someone who provides. The reverse law is not just a law of attraction, it's a law of being. It's not just about getting what you want, it's about becoming who you truly are. It's not just about changing your circumstances, it's about recognizing your true nature. And when you do, everything changes, because you realize that you were never separate from what you desired. You were never lacking anything. You were never incomplete. You were always already everything you needed to be. This is the ultimate message of the reverse law. Stop chasing, and everything will chase you. Not because you're trying to get something, but because you're being everything. Not because you're forcing outcomes, but because you're allowing truth. Not because you're pursuing your desires, but because you're embodying your destiny. The reverse law is the end of seeking and the beginning of being. It's the end of wanting and the beginning of having. It's the end of chasing and the beginning of attracting. It's the end of separation and the beginning of unity. It's the end of illusion and the beginning of truth. You are already everything you seek to become. The reverse law simply helps you remember this truth. And when you do, when you truly embody this understanding, when you live from this awareness, you discover that you were never chasing your desires. Your desires were always chasing you. You just needed to stop running and let them catch up.